What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Resonance and Replay podcast. I'm Dillon. He's James. We discuss about things that we resonate with and you want to replay.
Yeah, nailed it.
The accent. I didn't screw it up.
First try.
Only 400th take. I mean, yes, first try.
Yeah, no, that was the first try.
Yes.
Clarence isn't editing any of that.
What are you talking about? He's right there. Oh, no, that's Sephiroth. Never mind. They both have long flowing hair, so.
Yes. Welcome, Sephiroth and Cloud. Or is it Zach? People who don't play Final Fantasy have no idea what that means. Anyway, welcome back. Thank you for tuning in. Anyone that did tune in to the first episode, thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
Appreciate it. This week, we had a little bit of news. So we got anime season kind of kicking off. So we'll talk about that. But then there was an Xbox event announced.
Absolutely. They got a showcase coming up on the 22nd, I believe it was.
Yeah, I think it's Thursday the 22nd.
And I think they announced they're going to talk about Fable. Was it Forza? And this other game, Beast of Reincarnation.
Yeah, Beast of Reincarnation.
Yeah.
So I think we'll talk about Microsoft quite a bit at the end. And we'll tend to deep dive that because it's really interesting. And for you were pretty heavy loyal to Xbox for a lot longer than a lot of people were.
So I was more loyal to the backwards compatibility. Is what I was more loyal to.
Well, and we'll get into it. Yeah. But yeah, that's really funny that you mentioned that. So anime though this week, JJK,
huge. I haven't seen it, unfortunately, but huge.
Yeah, 2 episodes dropped. I believe that they were in theaters, technically. Like they did the
last episode for the previous season to tie into this.
Yeah, I think they did. I could be wrong. I know there was something in theaters.
Yeah, they did something of the sort. I think they did that with the previous season too.
So. Yeah, well, I mean, Demon Slayer kind of has done it the last 3 or 4 seasons as well. So it seems like it's. I mean, it's a good trend to generate a little extra revenue. I'm okay with it if it helps the quality.
Yeah, I was going to say if it keeps anime showing up in theaters, I'm okay with that.
Yeah. I agree. Speaking of anime theaters, Alexandria and I went and saw Demon Slayer. So she finally is caught up.
Excellent. Was it better viewing second time around?
Yes, because I watched it in Japanese. The first time I saw it in English.
Yeah, I'm not sorry for that.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I think that they've done there's nothing wrong with the English voice cast, but there's some that are better than others. And I think it's just the way that the character is portrayed. They do a good job of portraying the character the way that they're trying to. I just don't care for the portrayal. They're doing a good job of it. Nothing against the VAs. Tanjiro, I think that, and originally Alexandria didn't like Demon Slayer because she watched the first couple of episodes in English with her mom, and her mom's a big anime fan and stuff. But Tanjiro comes off very whiny in English, where he comes off as desperate and despair in Japanese.
I absolutely get that.
So, and there's nothing wrong with him being upset about the events he was thrust into.
Oh yeah,
but
my God.
It comes off as whiny baby in English, and in Japanese you hear desperation in his voice, why is the world doing this to me?
Absolutely.
In the most cruel way, not in the I'm a baby.
Yeah. It's really sad how the biggest downside to essentially the biggest anime right now on Earth, with how much money it makes, it's basically that, is the fact that the main character's English VA is its weakest point.
Yeah, and he got better throughout the season. And in Mugen Train, actually, I thought he did a great job in Mugen Train specifically. And
it's so good.
I haven't watched seasons 2 and 3 in English, so I can't speak for that. But I thought I did watch Mugen Train both sub and dub, and I thought that he did a much better job with the sub there than he did in the first season in English. And then rewatching, now that I've seen both Infinity Castle movies, Tanjiro is just a more confident character now, though. He's still a little bit he's very emotional in a way Deku is at the end of the show. But he's confident because he realizes he can at least stand toe to toe even with the likes of uppers. So
I am going to try and avoid spoilers because I know there's some people that are going to be that didn't get to see it.
Yeah,
and that want to hold out the Zenitsu moment. You know which one I'm talking about. Was it better in sub, or was it How was the Japanese version of that?
They're
moment?
both really good, and I mean, I'm a pretty big fan of the VA for Zenitsu because
that was honestly the main
genuine,
reason
so.
I wanted to watch it in dub because I heard that specific moment was incredible.
It is really,
So
it's really good both ways.
okay, good.
And actually rewatching it, the Zenitsu arc of this movie was its highlight in a way. Now, I'm not going to go into the final arc too much because it's really long and drawn out, and again, spoilers. But I think that the Zenitsu arc was like almost perfectly paced as far as pacing is concerned, because that was the biggest concern with the movie was the pacing. I think it was perfectly paced. Like Alexandria, same thing. She thought that it was like you wanted a little bit more of it, but it was tasteful when it stopped. Because it made you want more, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that absolutely makes sense. That was of the essentially like 3 arcs within this movie, I'd say.
Yeah,
we got the 3 sections.
Yeah, the 3 main.
The first chunk, I feel like maybe could have used a little bit more time as well.
Yes, it could have.
But I was more craving it within the Zenitsu chunk than anything else. So I agree with that statement.
I actually read something the other day that originally the movie was 3 full hours and it got cut back because of pacing concerns, which that's crazy. Like, I wonder what was cut. It had to have been, backstory conversation stuff as opposed to combat because of the budget that goes into combat. I can't imagine you'd cut it.
So I was like, Demon Slayer, worry about budget? That animation alone, it's like, that's a small loan of $1 quadrillion.
Right. But that being said, saw that, really loved it, but excited to get into some newer stuff. So JJK, first couple episodes have dropped. It's a Culling Games arc, which there's not going to go into spoilers because you haven't seen it or anything there, but it's good. I mean, I've read the manga, so it's nothing is going to surprise me unless they, obviously do something on their own. Good. There's a little bit of everything in it, a little bit of lore, a little bit of backstory, character development, setting up the Culling Games. I will say, be ready to pause because I mean I don't know if they'll explain the Culling Games.
Doing some
there's a lot of readings because there's all the rules. They pop up in Japanese and is translated to English, and there's a lot of rules.
Yeah.
So, and they're kind of, you'll want to read them because they're kind of complex rules.
Yeah. So when it comes to JJK, I am one of the anime onlys at the moment. I do want to read it so badly, but I'm a stubborn anime boomer and I want to get the physical manga to read, but I'm a broke boy.
So money is a thing.
Yeah, money is a thing, and things just keep getting more expensive. But it's like I've had some things of JJK like late game spoiled for me, so it's like there's a couple things that like final season worthy that I already know about.
Okay.
Thanks, NC Hammer, but I love your content. But it's like when it comes to the Culling Game arc itself, I know nothing.
Okay.
So
I think that's how a lot of people are. I think a lot of people inadvertently, because JJK was so big last season, between the fact that the manga was ending and the Shibuya incident is insane. It's an insane arc. And so the fact that they were happening side by side, animated versus, the panels, that is... I mean, it blew up because of it, and I think that there were so many eyes on it that as the finale was being written and published, unfortunately, it was just more likely you were to see spoilers. And there's some pretty big ones out there, so be careful if you're trying to dodge them. Yeah,
be careful when it comes to JJK spoilers online for sure. Is the art style the same as season 2, or is it more fluent with a hint of like not fully kind of like
that it kind of just picks up where it left off,
kind of like that Naruto style with like Madara fighting? I've seen clips of that where it's like it's the fluidity of the animation where it's going smoothly, but obviously the quality of the animation itself isn't the best.
Well, they polished, and I don't know if you have rewatched some of the stuff. So spoilers. There's a
Spoiler zone
for JJK season 2. There's an enemy called Maharaga. I'll try and keep it as spoiler free as possible. But there's a fight between Maharaga and somebody, and it's it's one of the penultimate parts of that season.
I know what specific moment you're talking about.
The whole thing is amazing.
Walking through.
Yeah, like, well,
what the fuck?
Yeah, the whole thing is really good, but this is our PSA. Hey, companies, treat your artists good and give them time to do what they need to do. I know that Mappa's been undertaking a ton of projects.
Looking at you, random Mappa executive, watching this random one off. Oh shit! The two they're yelling at us. We got to do something.
Yeah, I don't think that they're gonna, not for you or me. Yeah. But the quality, like some of the artists even said that only 65% of the fight made it to the final product because they couldn't do any more. So when they released the physical version of that season, they actually finished the fight. So there is extended versions of the fight, and it's more polished.
So what I'm hearing is I need to go buy a Blu-ray and go rewatch that fight.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'm going to Walmart. See y'all later.
Yeah, the fight is a little bit extended. I don't remember how much extra content it is. I want to say it's like 4 minutes total. But 4 minutes of fighting is
like additional or the whole thing?
4 minutes total.
Okay, I was about to say they added 4 more minutes. Oh my god!
Yeah, but it's done in like
anime.
Chunks.
That's like a whole new episode.
Yeah, in little chunks throughout the fight. I want to say it was 4 minutes, or maybe it was 4 minutes of additions and polish, something to that effect. Because they did polish some things up. It looks better. I mean, it still looked really interesting and good before, but you make that stylistic choice. Black Clover has done it, and like you said, Naruto had done it at points where it's like you're trying to just do so much at once. Mm-hmm. Anyway, season 3 is off to a good start. We'll see how it goes. I think that people are going to be a little back and forth on how they feel about the culling games, just based on what I know about
it. Without spoilers, is the culling games as insane as Shibuya Incident, or will people that expect Shibuya Incident level stuff be let down by culling games?
I think that I think that what's interesting about the culling games is that there's a lot more happening with the story and like the lore.
I personally prefer plot and lore.
There's more of that happening, but it's a little bit more convoluted than Shibuya seemed like it was pretty straightforward.
So it might lose some people.
It might lose some people.
Okay.
Yeah. And the culling games, the rules are pretty specific. The rules will play a part into it, and at times you'll have to re-rack your brain and think about it. So Anyway, it's good. You're going to enjoy it. I think that for some of the people who just want to see like the pinnacle of fight scenes all the time and expect Shibuya 2.0 100%, they might be a little lost. And I've already seen that online a tiny bit because there is a little bit more development in the first 2 episodes than fighting. Okay. So anyway.
Good to know.
Yeah, and then we've got Free Run right around the corner, Hell's Paradise Season 2 right around the corner, which that one's been a long time coming.
Which are 2 shows that I also still need to watch.
You need to watch Free Run.
I was about to say, for being a fan of anime, I have not watched much anime recently.
Yeah, you need to watch Free Run, like ASAP. Absolutely ASAP. Hell's Paradise is a dealer's choice. I can see why some people wouldn't like it. I thought that the concept was interesting and it's a little trippy, but I totally wouldn't fault anyone for skipping it.
I've heard it's at least worth checking out. Is what I've heard. I haven't heard like, oh, it's a 10 out of 10, or I haven't heard, oh, skip that. No, it's like it's like watch a couple episodes, see what you think about it.
Yeah.
So
Gabi Maru is the name of the protagonist, and the main character. We'll call him the main character. We'll leave it at that because it's very interesting. He is the protagonist.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure I know what you're implying.
I don't know what that means.
For anyone that picked that up and you know.
Yeah, I mean, sure.
I doubt that was even picked up on the mic. It's fine.
It might have been, but I'm excited about it. And then kind of wrap up anime when Alexandria was over. I was trying to find something because she watches a lot more like broad and maybe obscure stuff than I do. So I was trying to find something that neither of us had watched, but she's watched so many oddball ones that sometimes she can watch like 2 or 3 episodes and then remember, oh, I remember everything about this now. Like when we first started hanging out, we did that with Erased. because I love Erased. I think it's a great anime. You
That was
watched it, right?
the kid one with the really big plot twist at the end. I'm trying to avoid any potential spoilers for it. So the little girl goes missing.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Mhm.
You showed me that. I think we binged it in one night.
Yeah, because
And
it's
then
only 12
the twist
episodes.
happened, and I called the twist accidentally, and you're sitting there like, and then I was like, I knew it. God, I need to buy the manga of that too.
It's
So
so
many.
good.
I'm in such a manga craze the last couple of years, where I just want to buy so much of it.
Well, that's kind of where I was going with this because I was trying to find something we hadn't watched that she hadn't watched that I hadn't watched, so we could watch it together instead of like showing it. Because we've been doing that back and forth. Like she'll pick an anime that she's watched and I haven't. She'll show it to me, and then we kind of trade back and forth as we're watching. So she watched Demon Slayer, so now I'm watching Reincarnated as a Slime. So which is pretty good. It's all over the place a little bit, but I'm enjoying it.
Yeah,
so
I've heard it's one of those where it's like,
yeah, a little bit.
Either it's like fantastic, or oh, this was not a good episode. This was great. Oh, this was one good.
It kind of gets slice of lifey for some people. May not like that, and I don't mind slice of life.
Yeah, I don't mind slice of life at all.
Like
if the characters are written well, the story is decent. I'm like, I don't care what genre it is.
Yeah, sometimes I've always been hesitant on like the isekai drop. Like there's so many isekais out there, like getting reincarnated as all these different things, and I know that Reincarnated as Slime and Sword Art, they kind of like they're a little bit more standout in their fields on the isekais, but I've always dodged them for whatever reason, but I'm enjoying it. And then so we were looking for something else like quick to go through, like only 10 or something episodes. And we found something called Grimgar of Ashes or Fire and Ashes or something like that.
That sounds familiar.
It's only got 12 episodes, and it's got such a unique art style. It kind of caught me. If you there's a handful of games that have been made for like the 3DS and stuff like that that kind of use the art style a little bit. Think like maybe the Bravely Default like stylized backgrounds. Think what is it? Legacy of something. I can't remember. I have them. They're sitting out there somewhere. But anyway, the unique background art styles that allowed them to probably just focus on what's in the foreground. And really, really interesting. And now manga wise, they only did that one season. That was back in like 2017. And there's not going to adapt anymore, but there's still a ton of chapters, a ton to read out there. I think I might go through and do it, but when I was doing some research on like where I should start, because I'd want to at least start canonically where I left off from the anime, people are kind of like, it's good for like a little bit, and then it's not so good. Now I'm like, but I want to buy the mangas, but I don't spend all the money on the mangas.
Is there a show that you've watched where you're not like the greatest fan of, but then you see like the art from the manga itself, and you're like, I want to read the manga? Just specifically because the art looks incredible. My example is One Punch Man. I haven't watched the anime at all, and from what I've heard from the most recent season, it's not even worth watching anymore. But the panels I've seen from the manga itself are fucking bananas.
Really?
Like
I
have seen in these images. I'm like, I need to buy this manga. I need to read this.
See, I don't know if there's anything. I mean, I guess the closest thing would be like Black Clover, because the first season was truly weekly all year round, minus like 2 or 3 small breaks, and so the animation quality was not good, but the panels were fine in the manga, and I had read a decent chunk of the manga, so that's probably the only one I can think of. I would also say maybe Boruto specifically, because again, it was truly weekly until they wrapped up the first arc or the first part of Boruto, and the manga, especially like the time skip. Don't get me started. Two Blue Vortex is literally goated. So,
are they? I don't know if I heard correctly or not. Is Boruto actually getting close to the end of the Two Blue Vortex part?
No.
Or okay.
They have it pretty much like mapped out. They think that it'll be around 70 70 chapters or something like that. We just hit chapter 23,
Oh, so
22.
we're in just the first chunk.
The first chunk, yeah. So I'm curious to see, because it's not really, it's a minor spoiler for Boruto, but the first episode of the anime and everything from the manga is actually it shows you in a time skip.
Oh, have they been animating Two Blue Vortex?
Oh god, if they were animating Two Blue Vortex, you wouldn't get me to shut up. Because it would either they do it justice and I'm going to be raving it, or they don't do it justice and I'm going to be so upset, because Two Blue Vortex.
Are they planning to animate Two Blue Vortex, or are they just letting it be a manga?
Eventually, but there's just not enough content.
Oh yeah, true, because they're only doing monthly.
Yes, release, it's right? Monthly. I think so it's like
they gotta wait for it to be at least like 30 or 40 in before they can even start, because they do like 3-4 per episode.
Well, and there's a decent amount of combat in Two Blue Vortex, and combat panels and combat chapters, you adapt even more. Like on average, I think, like it depends, but like 4 or 5.
So yeah, a fight, I'm sure they can just add their own like little like things here or there to fill out that void, right?
They could, but you also got to have some substance, and you got to find that balance.
It's called filler episodes. Beach episode brought to you by Two Blue Vortex.
We are not. There are no beach episodes necessary for Two Blue Vortex.
You're like, don't you fucking dare!
Yeah, do not.
Filler to absolutely my vortex not. Of the Two Blue.
No. We do not need beach episodes in Two Blue Vortex.
This is the last question I got for Boruto, because I don't read Boruto. I know nothing about Boruto besides one specific episode that happened years ago with Kurama.
Oh,
and I sent that to you, and I was like, "Are you aware of this?" And
I cried in the shower in Grand Lake.
Yeah, I wasn't even. I was like somehow got emotional for some reason. I didn't even watch Naruto. I just know that I know this character matters to Naruto. Naruto wasn't having a moment.
Yeah,
but have they discussed whether like Two Blue Vortex is going to wrap up Boruto's story, or they just this is the next part and then maybe something after?
I think that it'll be the end.
Yeah, kind of like how Shippuden was. One thing in Naruto was its thing.
Yeah, I think it'll be the end.
Okay.
I think it'll be the end. I don't see there being a reason to do it any further.
Okay.
So
basically we got like another year of Boruto manga content then, roughly. If they're going about 70 more and they're about 20 in.
No, it's going to be way more than that, because they're monthly.
My brain still thought weekly for some reason.
Yeah, they're monthly. I mean, they're longer chapters for what it's worth.
Flip that out. Clarence.
They are longer chapters for what it's worth.
Yeah. Well, I would hope so if it's only doing a month. So that's 5 years then almost of.
Yeah.
Still.
And at some point, maybe they'll flip it to like weekly for a little bit or something, but who knows? I'm fine with it. It started off really, really good, like really hot, really, really good. A lot of things happening, aura farming for days. And then it gets a little bit into a pocket of like slowing down, and now we're speeding back up again. So.
This is completely off tangent, but it is anime related. When they start releasing the One Piece anime remake, are you going to watch that?
Yes. Okay. Soft yes. So I don't have time or energy, or candidly, I don't even have the interest in watching the 1,200 episodes that's out there. The pacing will be a problem for me.
Because I'm pretty sure they said they're going to work on pacing issues and they're going to cut out as much filler as possible.
It's being modernized 100%. Yeah, because they said in the first season they'll get to the arc that everyone says you need to get to kind of get hooked, from what I can remember.
It was like 100 plus episodes, if I remember correctly, to get to that point.
To get to the end of it. Yeah. To get to the end of that arc. But to get to the start of it, it's less than that.
Yeah, because
it's still a lot.
I remember when we were like kids, when it like first came out, I remember watching a couple episodes being like, oh, this is interesting. And then I just dropped it off completely, forgot about it. And then over the years, I was like, is that still going? Is that still going? Get my walker out. Is that still going? And it's like, it's the amount of content there is. I'm like, like you said, 1,200 episodes or whatever. I'm like, I don't want to fucking watch 1,200 episodes.
Yeah.
But then hearing that they're going to remake it in modern pace, I'm like, okay, I'll give that a shot.
Yeah.
And then if I ever interested to see what was like cut in there, I can go back to old episodes.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's one of the goats for a reason. So it's like, I have to watch something. I have to see what it was all about.
Yeah. No, I think that's a really good way of... That's how I'm doing it, because I don't have the time or the bandwidth, and everybody tells me it's good. Like, do you remember Andrew from the zoo?
Yeah.
he always dodged it too. And I don't remember, he made a deal with one of his buddies, like for as like his Christmas gift. He's like, I will watch One Piece or something. Mm-hmm. So that's a heck of a gift because that's a lot of time.
I promised Evan and Ashley I'd either watch or read Naruto, and I still owe them. So
yeah, well,
I'm pretty sure I promised that to you like 15 years ago as well. So.
Probably, but Naruto is even more approachable. And then also, I am totally fine in suggesting a filler guide to skip the stuff, or the not as canon or not as good stuff. That doesn't matter. But for One Piece, I mean, I'm sure there's a guide of some sort, but I don't know how much is like truly filler versus just like drawn out main story.
I heard nearly half of it is filler. Or like they extended stuff just to keep the weekly going.
That wouldn't surprise me either. But
I think that's the biggest problem with One Piece is that it was a issue of its time. Where it's like you needed to be having weekly.
Yeah, it had to be.
So they add so much crap to expand it out and all that stuff. But hey, I mean, if it's quality according to the fan base, who am I to judge?
Well, like Andrew, he said originally he was like, I'm going to slog through this. And then I don't remember where it was in the story that he got to specifically, but there was a specific point in the first 25% of it that he got to. And he's like, okay, I'm going to do this for fun now because I enjoy it, like genuinely enjoy it. And because his family doesn't live very far from here. So he was down here visiting them like a couple months ago and we hung out for a little bit. And he still, the number of episodes he said he had to get through before he was like really, really hooked was still more than I think that you should have to give a show.
More than an actual regular anime had a run of.
Yeah, I think that you should, like, kind of rule of thumb is like 2 to 3 hours worth of content should be enough to get me on your premise. If you can't win me in 2 to 3 hours of content, however many episodes that is, whether it's a movie, whatever, if you can't win me in 2 to 3 hours...
If I need to watch 100 episodes to get hooked onto your show...
It's a little too much.
Yeah. Hell, Attack on Titan wasn't even 100 episodes total.
So. Yeah. Well, and I think it's interesting, too, because with anime, a lot of things have gone with this... How do you, like, shock value people in the first episode to hook them? Right?
Attack on Titan
is
like one of the king
Slayer.
Demon Slayer.
Solo Leveling kind of does it over 2 episodes, to be fair.
Yeah. Oh, that was
so good.
Chef's kiss. They did a fantastic job.
And I don't mind it because it creates real world stakes, but I also feel like it's a little overdone. But then it's like, well, how do you hook somebody in the first episode if not through trauma? It's like, well, maybe make me like the character or something a little bit more up front. I don't know. But anyway, that's good. It's going to be a really good year for anime. It's going to be a really good year. We'll probably talk about some of the bigger things that happen, bigger episodes and stuff like that as they air. I think that JJK, because you haven't seen it yet, and then it is the intro episodes. It's a lot of setup for the calling games. Yeah. There's not a ton to dive into, but
yeah, I'll make sure to actually have caught up on them by the next podcast episode. Pardon me, I'm yawning.
So you're going to be caught up on free run and stuff too?
Sorry. Yeah, let me get all that done in a week.
I mean, free run's only 29 episodes.
Only?
Yeah.
I got 2 jobs, damn it.
29 episodes you could do in one day off.
And I stream twice a week.
There's your plug.
I'll talk about that later.
Yeah, of course you will. So let's talk about Xbox. So this event that's coming out, the developer stream, that is the 22nd. That's a Thursday. I don't know if and what capacity he'll be able to participate, unfortunately. But I will be doing some sort of either a live react and then uploading it, or maybe, depending on timing, if we can come up with something, we'll hold off on watching it and hold off on the news, and we'll watch it together like the next day or something, if we can make it work. But I don't want to put a huge gap between the actual announcement and the react. So if we can't do that, then we'll just talk about it on the following podcast. And when you guys are seeing this, that means that the podcast or the developer live stream is in 3 days from when this will go up.
Yes.
So that being said, so it's this Thursday, either upload or live reaction Thursday night, or or we'll talk about it on the next Monday's podcast. We'll probably talk about it on next Monday's podcast either way, to some degree. But if we can do a full react, then we'll figure it out. But yeah, it kind of came out of nowhere. I wasn't expecting anything from Xbox right now. Were you?
I was not. I was half expecting them to announce like anything Fable related, at least until Games Fest at this point.
Yeah,
seems like they're really just trying to like nosedive into oblivion at this point. It feels like.
Well, I'm wondering if, because we just had the Game Awards, right? The Game Awards were less than 30 days ago. At least at the time of recording this, it was less than 30 days ago. Do you think they just didn't want to pay to be there? Because did they have anything there?
I don't remember, honestly.
If it wasn't like standout.
Yeah, nothing really stood out Xbox related.
I just don't think they wanted to be there. I don't think they wanted to pay to be there. And that's
I mean, not to be disrespectful to these specific games here, but would anyone really have lost their mind over Forza and then the next Forza game? I mean, Fable, that's got legacy to its name. But also it's like, not to be disrespectful to the fan base, as you are one of the fan base of Fable. I personally have not played them. I don't really hear much buzz around it.
I think everyone's just not there. The confidence isn't there because Xbox hasn't landed a game since. What was the last Xbox title that they put out that landed well on its feet, ready to go, basically day one out of the box? What's the last game that you can think of that was exclusive?
It wasn't massive, but Hi-Fi Rush was like a shock success in 2023. It was from Tango Gameworks, and then they let go of Tango Gameworks.
Yeah, well, luckily that's been rectified.
Yeah, they released luckily. Also, Hi-Fi Rush is getting a physical release coming up. I saw that pop up on Limited Run, which I might honestly get a PS5 copy because it was actually a fantastic game.
Yeah,
I didn't beat it, but I enjoyed my experience, and it's worthy enough of having a physical release of, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I think that Hi-Fi Rush was a really, and it was shadow dropped. It was shadow dropped. It was 100% shadow dropped. But I mean, before that, what was the last?
2022. I don't think they had anything. If they did, somebody will remind me. It was this game, you freaking moron. I mean, Halo Infinite was probably the biggest name that didn't, but they fumbled the bag hard. Did it launch with there was something it did not launch with it. They didn't have multiplayer when it launched, right? Or did it not have its story? Something was missing from the launch. Or was it was delayed a year. That's what it was.
Something was delayed. But
also the fact that their two biggest franchises are now on Gears of War is now on PS5, and Halo is getting remade to be on PS5. It's like, what is there to Psychonauts 2? I completely forgot.
Psychonauts 2 was well received, but it's a very niche title overall. Unfortunately,
2021. That tells me 2021 was a slow year when Psychonauts 2 was a Game of the Year contender.
Yeah,
it's a fantastic game. Don't get me wrong, but was it Game of the Year quality? I don't think so.
Yeah, so we're talking about Flight Simulator for Xbox. I mean, that's I actually think Flight Simulator is really cool. I played around with it a ton. Yeah. I think it's really good fun and interesting, but it's not like you live in it unless you are an actual flight sim person.
We haven't had a first party exclusive since 2023.
Yeah.
And 12 total first party in 3 years.
Yeah, that's
insane.
Yeah, that's not great. The highlights from this list, I think Flight Simulator is really cool. Grounded, but it was in beta for a long time.
Forza is more than likely their most consistent release at this point, that of doing decent numbers.
Yeah. Horizon 5 specifically did particularly well.
I don't know what As Dusk Falls is. Pentiment, I don't recall. Like I said, Hi-Fi Rush was a shadow dropped shock success. Minecraft Legends, was that the weird RPG Minecraft?
It's like the dungeon crawler one.
I'm not a Minecraft guy. I never was, so I don't know.
It did fine.
And then Starfield happened.
I
expected nothing because it's just another Bethesda first person shooter.
I could talk for an hour about how much I dislike Bethesda as a game
Yeah.
studio. As
They need a new engine.
and I want to be clear, no disrespect to the developers. I
Mhm.
think that they take on too ambitious of projects, and they don't do enough to QA test anymore, and they almost rely on the community to keep their games alive through mod systems.
Looking at you, Skyrim.
Fallout, they all do it, and I
Yeah, it's
don't.
like, why put in effort when we know our community will just mod the crap out of it?
Yeah, and it's one thing if you release a game with it being the premise. Like,
Mhm.
this game is centered around the community's development. I don't know how I feel about it. Starfield is in a better place now, and I
Mhm.
think that they're working on a 2.0 update, but I mean, they've got a long way to go to get the redemption that, like, No Man's Sky got, because No Man's Sky is unbelievably
How many years did it
unrecognizable.
take No Man's Sky to recover from that?
Like, three.
Yeah, it was like
And then they were,
2018 was around the time where it's like people were talking good about it again.
yeah, it was 3 or 4 years, but now they update, all their updates are free.
Yeah.
And they're massive updates, complete ecosystem updates.
Yeah, I think that was one of the things they showed off.
Space Flight
was their next like update patch and all that stuff, and it was insane how large the scale of that game.
Mm-hmm. They also showed off during, I think it was during Game Fest, they showed off the next game coming from that studio, which is a completely different game.
My memory is failing me on that.
I don't remember what it's called. It's like something. It's a co-op like survival world game. Like, I got like Ark vibes, but totally different. I will pull it up right now because
also seeing Redfall on that list just made me like have a deep sigh, because it's like, even when they announced that game and it was a finale reveal, I'm like, this is your next big title. It's like,
I almost got baited into Redfall at one point too, because I looked at it and I was like, oh, this actually seems kind of cool. And then I'm glad I didn't fall for it.
Yeah,
and it's just a shame. Like,
Redfall was like I think when Redfall's launch flopped, that was like the official tipping point for like almost the point of no return.
Yeah,
because there's been like nothing really great since then.
Yeah, Light No Fire is the next game from Hello Games.
Oh, okay. Planet-Size Fantasy Online Multiplayer Sandbox RPG. Okay.
I think that it looks kind of interesting. Like, I get like crossover between like what Sea of Thieves originally wanted to be, what it became in the end.
I forgot about Sea of Thieves.
Dude, I was originally super hyped for Sea of Thieves.
Are they still doing anything with that, or did they wrap it up?
No, they still release seasonal content.
Did they get like a 4K update or something, where like the water somehow? I remember playing like a week of that, and then I was like, oh, I don't know anybody that's playing this. I just don't care.
By yourself is not that fun.
The water physics in that game, even on launch day, were fucking insane.
They were really
I was blown away by that water physics.
I was originally super excited for it, and then just nobody playing it, unfortunately, at the time. And then but they they released it on PS5 recently, and on PS5
everybody's released.
I think they've sold more copies on PS5 than they sold on Xbox,
which is depressing to say.
But Game Pass is also part of that.
Yeah.
But it's almost like, and that's where I think like I want the conversation to eventually go, is like just Xbox and like what they've done wrong, unfortunately, because I don't think the vision was bad. In the end, the vision wasn't bad, but
they fully relied too much on games being a service instead of just making good games.
Yes, but we'll talk about that a little bit more after the direct thing, or after this developer insight. So anyway, the 3 games for Forza Horizon 6, I'm excited for because it's in Japan. I'll roam Japan all day, every day, and drive and see the beauty. The games, Forza is always top notch visually.
It's always their best looking game each generation.
It's never a question.
That's never. You never have to question the quality of Forza's visuals. Never.
So I'm looking forward to it because I'll drive around Japan and I'll put it on my PS5 Pro and I'll be happy once it releases. Fable, cautiously optimistic.
I'm truly hoping that it's a fucking like home run.
I hope it is too.
Because you specifically, I'm hoping it's a home run.
The thing that both has me nervous and cautiously optimistic, they've delayed it 2 years. Like, it was supposed to come out in late 24, I want to say. Then they pushed it to late 25, and now we're going to get it in 26. I'm assuming we get the release date with this event. I think that's what closes.
I hope so.
That's what closes it out. And I don't think that they touch GTA 6 window. I think that they release it in
Nothing is within a month of the supposed GTA 6 window. No one's going to touch that.
No. I think it'll be like a May title for Fable. I'm excited and I'm cautiously optimistic because they have talked about it just a little bit, but they understand like the core of Fable, the fantasy, the quirkiness that it has, and you see those in the trailers they have shown. So they capture the quirkiness, but I need to make sure that they capture the decision making and how your decisions, your good or bad playthrough, how it impacts you and the world around you. If they lose that, they've lost Fable. It's just another RPG. Not that it couldn't be good, it's just not Fable.
I wonder if they keep the good evil choice thing, and like if you're choosing the evil path, like it visually like transforms your character.
Well, they always have.
Okay.
So
even more detail. I mean, like,
yeah. Hopefully,
maybe she winds up looking like the Witcher with black eyes and veins running down her face or something.
They used to get like little like magicka cracks and stuff in their faces and stuff like that. So hopefully, I want there to be the autonomy to really create your playthrough, and I hope they've taken the time to polish it. They've not shown much actual gameplay, just a little bit of like walking through towns and then cinematics.
The world of Fable, that's Albion, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it is all, at least so far, everything's tied together, even if it's separated by many, many years of lore and stuff like that. It's all been tied together. So I want that to continue. I want there to be this like continuity. I want to go to places that feel familiar, even if they're vastly different.
Do you think they'll do the thing where it's like it's been like hundreds of years since whatever events of Fable 3 happened, and then they just become like a legend thing, and then
it could be, but Fable 3 was interesting because of like the kingdom system. So I don't know if they would tie that in. Fable 3 kind of started off with some hard choices. Really, really not fun choices in Fable 3 to start off with, to be fair. So I'm curious if they keep that, because they've not talked a ton about that, and they've just been showing off one main character. Now, obviously, you have to have a pre-made character to put in trailers and stuff, and they're going to keep the same one for continuity reasons. But they've not talked about the customization. Like, if this is a set, locked main character, that's a miss. That's a huge miss for what this series is.
I was just about to ask that. Do you think they're just saying screw it and having that primary character?
I don't think so. I think it's dead on arrival if they don't let you continue down. The game's about choice. Make your character, make your life. I mean, like, you get anything from like the vast world of like a quote unquote Skyrim to the daily life of the Sims and marriage and kids and farm building Stardew. You can get kind of all of that out of Fable.
That's fucking insane.
You kind of get everything. So they need, in my opinion, they need to keep the essence of this game as a little bit of everything. If they don't, then I'm going to be really mad. And it will be at that point, it'll be the death of the series. I trust Playground Games. I really do trust Playground Games. I trust them more than I trust Xbox.
I trust anybody more. I don't trust EA more than Xbox.
Yeah.
But still, it's like I trust a majority of developers more than I trust Xbox at this point.
Yeah, I agree. Really excited for Fable. So I'm very, very curious to see what they show off. Hopefully a release date. Hopefully there is some physical copies, because Xbox just doesn't do much of it anymore.
Did Fable ever do collector's editions back in the day?
I want to say that they did deluxe editions, but I don't know about collectors. I could be wrong. I don't know.
Maybe they'll do a steelbook edition or something.
I always joined Fable like after the fact. I wasn't there day one for any of it. So that's another reason why I'm more excited for this one. I'll be there day one. As of right now, tentatively, it's one of those games where I will drop what I'm doing to put time into Fable. Tentatively. And there's not a lot of games that I'm like that with anymore. So
that's gonna be me with RE9 for sure. Like anything I have planned, I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
Cancel all my plans.
And
clear my schedule.
I used to be really bad about just buying anything that I was interested in day one. And part of that was because of where I worked. And there was a reason to do it from the goals perspective. But now I'm really selective. I only buy stuff day one that either has a limited version of the game that I can't get past day one, or I'm going to drop what I'm doing to play it, basically. That's how I buy games day one.
Yeah, that's kind of the only reason I even had Game Pass to begin with on Xbox. Because let me see if I like this game. Is this worth buying a physical copy of to own and to have on my shelf?
Mm-hmm.
That's how I discovered Expedition 33 too. I was like, yep, and now I have a version on my shelf.
Yeah.
So,
well, and then the last thing on this list is the Beast of Reincarnation. This was announced, I believe, during Game Fest this last summer, and it is from Game Freak.
mm-hmm. The Pokemon devs.
Yeah, the devs that started Pokemon. So very interesting to see them get out of their comfort zone and get off the leash.
I just glanced noticed that this is the 25th anniversary of Xbox this year.
Oh, it is. So, I mean, to be fair, like you said, we haven't gotten a proper first-party release from Xbox in 2-3 years. I wonder if maybe
they are working on a Blade game.
They were working on a Blade game. They also there's rumors of new Halo. Oh no, we got the
Halo remake is going to PS5,
but that is also going to PS5.
Yeah. Which honestly, I'm probably pick up a PS5 before then.
Yeah, it looks fine. It looks good, but
mostly because the only Halo fan still that I know of prefers his PS5 at this point.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we also have Gears of War this year, supposedly.
Yeah. Oh, E-Day. I forgot about E-Day.
Yeah. Xbox could actually have a pretty big year coming.
Yeah, hopefully they reveal
the biggest
E-Day at this. Hopefully that might be like a closer or something.
I don't think that it'll be I think Fable's the closer with a release date.
Yeah.
I don't think there's going to be that one more thing because this is a more direct thing.
I will say if E-Day gets revealed and that's also going to PlayStation 5, it's like, okay, I'm just going to get it on PS5 then.
I'm pretty sure at this point, we'll go back to it. Anyway, Beast of Reincarnation, Game Freak.
You mentioned Gears, I got excited.
I know. But that's another one of those games that's very like Tsushima, Sekiro, Onimusha, that samurai culture
or gameplay wise.
Yeah, we talked about that in the last episode. I had completely forgotten about this title, and it's just
visually it looks incredible.
It does look really good, and I am curious to see what happens when you take I think that's part of the reason why I'm so cautiously optimistic about Playground doing Fable, because like I use Guerrilla as like the example. When you took Guerrilla out of their comfort zone with Killzone and they pitched Horizon, it's fantastic. I want to see more of these game studios. Like I feel like their developers have been locked in. Like, all right, we're clocking in to make a first-person shooter today. We're clocking in to make a Pokemon game today. We're clocking in to make a racing game today.
Has Game Freak done anything recently other than Pokemon?
Let's look. I honestly don't know the answer to that.
I think this is because if not, this feels like hey Nintendo, let us do something else, please. Let us make other things. Because honestly, I don't think it's coming to Switch.
So yeah,
they have done stuff. I just haven't heard of it.
Yeah, it's smaller stuff.
Yeah, so much Pokemon. Nothing really at the level of Beast of Reincarnation.
Yeah, nothing that's a mainstay. Right? Like some oddball stuff.
Yeah, I haven't heard of any of this stuff, and I don't remember seeing any promotion for any of it other than Beast of Reincarnation. Everything else is just Pokemon. Yeah. X and Y was 2013?
Yep.
I'm out. This
Funny,
sucks.
X and Y kind of, in a weird way, holds a special spot in my heart because, I mean, where we grew up, you were either playing sports or you weren't cool. And there was that small pocket near graduation where getting back into video games was kind of cool, but it had to be like Black Ops. I remember very specifically at basketball practice, I think Zach was taking money from everybody to go to Marquette to buy Black Ops for everybody. But other than that, like games weren't really cool. And I don't know, just you weren't allowed to be yourself. And then when I went to college, I was like, oh, everybody here is a nerd.
Yeah.
I mean, not everybody, but like there was that pocket of like, there is nothing wrong with playing video games and enjoying that and stuff like that. So I got back into Pokemon.
Yeah. And I remember coming to visit you at college and being like, oh shit, we can be nerds still? Fuck yes.
Yeah. It was really,
then I'm blanking on a name, but one of them gifted you a physical copy of Final Fantasy VII on PS1 for I think your birthday that year. I don't remember their name off the top of my head. Nate.
Nate. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was Nate.
Yeah. I remember because I remember him being like, "Oh, hey, here you go," and you're like, "What the fuck is it?" Oh, but you're like, "No fucking way!"
Yeah.
And I remember us being like, "Oh shit!" And I'm be like, "Is that 4 discs?"
Man, those were
around when PS4 and Xbox One came out.
Yeah,
and you had your PS4, Devin Ward looking, just drooling at NBA. Was it 2K14?
Yeah,
2K14. Like, look at these visuals. Now it looks like doo doo.
Yeah, it's not good.
Which is crazy to think. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, that's wild.
So yeah, I'm curious to see more of Beast Reincarnation. Maybe a little bit of like a hint of what the plot is, unless they already did that in the reveal. I don't remember.
Yeah, I think that they put a little bit in there, but overall, I'm excited to see a studio step out of their comfort zone. Mm-hmm. I think, and I understand why they don't do it, because it costs a lot of money. There's a lot of risk, but I'm so for companies stepping outside their comfort zone and doing something different.
Did it say whether it was going to Switch or not, or was it just PS5, Xbox, and all that? Top. Back to the Game Freak Wikipedia. PS5, just Xbox, PS5, and Windows. No Nintendo.
Yeah, I mean the Switch 2 version could potentially be in the works eventually. But
it's their fiction. So
that's the publisher.
Oh, okay. I was like, this is their different branch of Game Freak, but
yeah, no, it's the publisher.
So they're working with somebody else on this. So
well, it depends on how much. Sometimes the publishers, all they do is provide the upfront funding. Mm-hmm. Sometimes all they do is the manufacturing. Sometimes they own almost all of the creative process over the studio because they've got money invested. It really depends. I don't know about fiction.
Legends Arceus and Scarlet and Violet were the same year. Damn, they were busy.
Yes, but they were separated by Arceus came out in January, and it felt like it was delayed slightly, and then Scarlet and Violet were also the following November.
Scarlet and Violet be in 2022. I'm just like, can this decade calm down?
Yeah,
because Sword and Shield is what, 2017?
Sword and Shield?
Yeah, the one before Scarlet and Violet.
No, Sword and Shield is 2020.
That's the expansion. Oh, 2019. So it was only a 3-year gap between Sword and Shield. Must have not done well or something, or because 3 years to do a new generation of Pokemon.
COVID.
So they had nothing else to do. Got it.
Yeah, it was primarily COVID, and then they did the expansion instead. But so, I think they also released like Detective Pikachu remake or something in there, but that wouldn't have been directly published by Game Freak.
Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee was 2018.
Yeah.
Ultra Sun and Moon. Oh, I remember loving. I didn't play Sun and Moon, but I remember loving the legendaries, the Sun Lion and the Moon Bat.
Yeah, Solgaleo and Lunala or something. I don't remember their actual names, but
the legendaries are hit or miss in later generations. But
yeah, I mean, they're up to 1,200 unique creatures at this point.
Only they have as many Pokemon as there are One Piece episodes.
Yeah, exactly. You could reveal one in an episode. So it's interesting. I also think it's interesting that this is going why is this game going to Xbox's developer update? I wonder why, because it is on all platforms. So I wonder what the interest is there in tying those together. But anyway,
maybe for some reason they just gave him more money.
I mean, hey, maybe.
We'll give you a window to talk about it.
Yeah.
Here's a suitcase.
Yeah, third party.
Sir, this is just Master Chief's helmet. Yes.
That's not even worth that much anymore.
3 rubles. I don't even know if that's a real thing. I just came up with that.
It's your form of currency. But yeah, I'm excited for the event. Hopefully it's pretty good. It's nice to see.
Back down to Reincarnation. Delve into Game Freak's intense 1-person, 1-dog action RPG. So you have a loyal friendo in the game.
Yeah, there was something about a dog or something.
I was about to say, I just see dead robot.
Let's take a look.
Yeah. It's like I remember. I'm pretty sure like some of the combat had me like going like, oh.
Yeah, the original trailer didn't show a ton though. So yeah.
And it's specific. This one specifically says just PS5. Oh, yeah. It's on PlayStation's link. That's why.
Yeah,
so they don't promote Xbox on PlayStation's link.
So yeah, I'm excited. I'm
Mhm.
excited for it. I don't know if it's a day one by any means, but I haven't seen enough of it
Mhm.
to make a decision. So, Xbox in general, though, I think that what's interesting with Xbox is that they weren't their vision is good. Their idea of like play your games anywhere, more accessibility to the games is a good thing. I
Mhm.
agree. I agree with that.
It just makes me laugh how they just hold up anything. They're like, "This is an Xbox." I'm like, "That's a PlayStation."
Oh yeah, but then they hold up their phone and the
Uh,
tablet and all that stuff.
this is an Xbox.
We have to blur that out.
Okay, we are not sponsored by that.
We're not sponsored. But I think it is interesting that they have gone this route with Game Pass because, and they're very shy, or what's maybe secretive about how they fund developers based on downloads and things
Mm-hmm.
like that. And I think if the program was good for developers, they would advertise it a little bit better to
Mm-hmm.
try and get people to do it. But I don't think that that's the case.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the fact that they've straight up said, "Oh no, we got another console generation that we're working on," I'm like, "But you really seem like you want to kill this one." So,
Yeah. Well, and I've followed the story of Xbox quite a bit because I mean I was 360 pretty much all the way
mm-hmm.
through. I got a PS3, what, a month before The Last of Us came
Yeah,
out.
when they were no longer $600.
Yeah, I got one at a steal before Last of Us came
Mm-hmm.
out, and then after that, I was an open consumer. I was open to both. And then the launch or the reveal of the Xbox One and the PS4 was botched so bad for Xbox, between the DRM, like the always having to be online
Oh,
with
I
the
remember that.
Connect.
That was what held me off for the longest time. Also, the file sizes of the games at the time were so bloated for no reason.
Mm,
Like at the time, it was 50 gigs was bloated,
yeah.
but 500 gigabytes was just used up instantly. So I was like, I'm gonna wait till a bigger model. It took me
Yeah.
3 years to get an Xbox at that point.
Well, originally it was you were not going to be able to borrow games or
Mm-hmm.
anything. It was
Oh
going to be it
yeah,
was going
it
to be
was
like product
like
keys.
you'd pop in the disc and it locked that disc to that console
Well,
essentially.
you had to there would be a code in the box. You'd have to
Mm-hmm.
redeem the code to your account, and then you would still have to have the disc in the system
Mm-hmm.
in order for you to play it. But and so if you went offline, it wouldn't be able to check your license, all that kind of stuff.
God, yeah, I remember that because then we had that iconic PS4 conference right after.
It was literally minutes after.
Ripping that up immediately.
Yeah, they're
Like just
like, this is how you borrow games. This is how you
yeah,
trade games.
yeah,
Like you
yeah.
literally, and it was the funny thing is that Xbox wasn't wrong about
Mm-hmm.
where the industry would go. They were just first. And when you take away the autonomy of choice, the consumer doesn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like you have to be online. You have to have this Connect attached to it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to
People
do that.
want choice. People don't want conglomerate corporations telling us how to live our lives.
Yep. That's pretty much, they don't like it, but then they do it anyway. Look
Mm-hmm.
at like because then you jump into like where Fortnite really blew up,
Mm-hmm.
and everything starts going digital. All the currencies start going digital. You're always online. You
Mm-hmm.
can't play half the games without being
Yeah,
online.
we're basically doing the stuff that Xbox was trying to do in 2013.
Yes, they just got punished for doing it first. It's kind of similar to PlayStation with the PS3. They just got punished for being first to market and breaking the mold on Blu-ray architecture and
Mm-hmm.
forcing people to take that path.
Also, looking back at how much of a fucking beefcake the original launch PS3 was,
Oh yeah, it was.
it's like, in grand scheme of things, it actually was worth $600. It's
And
just $600 in 2006 is like probably fucking $900 today.
I wouldn't even begin to know.
Yeah.
But the $600 was expensive, and there because the architecture was so different, it was hard to develop for. So it didn't have good launch games. There was just a lot of
I
missteps.
think the big launch title was like, what was it called? Heavenly Sword or something like that?
Maybe I
It
don't
was a
know.
chick with like long flowing red hair. I remember being like, that looks cool. Never, no one I knew talked about it. So I was like, okay, never mind.
Yeah, I don't remember because I wasn't in tune at that point. I was on the 360 already, and I remember going into stores and doing like 4 for $20 on pre-owned games, and I would get like Oblivion and Dragon Age Origins and stuff like that, and it'd pay like $20 for
I'm
all
just
four.
quickly looking up the launch price of the 360 just for comparison.
I want to say it was 400.
Because I'm curious. If it was 400, that's going to be insane.
I think the arcade or the Elite was 400.
It launched in 2 price points.
Yeah.
300 and 400.
Yeah, Elite in the arcade.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I got the $300 amount.
Well, the arcade one wouldn't have had any memory. You'd have to buy those. You remember the gray bricks that clicked onto the side?
No hard drive included. Oh, okay,
yep.
Never mind.
So if you bought the arcade one, you had to buy the clip-on hard drive separately.
So literally, the Xbox One PS4 launch was just an Uno reverse.
It was kind of reverse.
Xbox was more expensive. People were hating what was doing. PS4 was like, hey, we're cheaper and we're more friendly.
Yes.
And they literally flipped.
They pretty much flipped. And the problem, part of it was also the publicity around it. I don't remember who it was. I don't remember his name. The internet roasted him for a long time. He basically said, you all have internet, right?
Yeah,
it's 2013. If you can't afford internet, you don't deserve our console, basically.
And he straight up was like, he's like, oh, you don't like the Xbox One? Well, there's this thing called an Xbox 360.
Yeah. The very poor, I don't know, his treatment of the situation.
He was purely like, you can tell he's in that for the business side. He did not really care about the gaming aspect of it.
Yeah,
which is really crippling in the gaming industry when it's
the customer.
Yeah, for the customer. Like
at the end of the day,
they clearly do not care about the gaming aspect, and it's like, just buy it. Why are you complaining?
Yeah, his exact words were something along. I swear,
it was a poor choice of words.
It was just not good because it was like, if you can't afford it, you shouldn't be here. Like I understand that certain things are expensive, but you shouldn't be talking down on people who don't have money. You should make them aspire to one day have your product, not feel bad for not having it. There's a difference. Inspire them to go out, save money, pick up a side hustle, and eventually get there to be excited about it.
It's the same equivalent as Diablo Immortal launch. The guy going, do you guys not have phones?
Yeah, exactly. It was the same concept.
It's like, good Lord, that's out of touch talk.
It would be a fun video for us to do, is like pull up like all the worst moments in gaming and react and rewatch them.
That'd be a good video, like best moments, worst moments.
Yeah, like gaming's worst moments and reacting to them and just seeing, like, there's the Xbox One will be up there. I think the other thing too that probably had people on edge at the launch of the Xbox One was the Red Ring of Death backlash, because of the amount of consoles that failed from Xbox's side. And it took a long time to get it right. I mean, they did go through and offer warranty services and repair services and stuff, but man,
I did have the Red Ring like pop up when I was like one time when I was little, but that warranty system, like it was 2009, so they had already gone through it enough times. I got mine back in like less than 2 weeks.
That's surprising.
Yeah, so it's like I don't have like, yeah, it sucked, but it's like I didn't have to wait long to get mine back.
I'm actually surprised.
Yeah.
There's actually a really good like Vidoc series, a video documentary that they did about the Xbox 360 Red Ring process. Microsoft themselves did it. It's on their YouTube channel. It's actually really good. It's like 4 or 5 episodes long. It's good. They cover the whole thing. And I remember one thing to their credit, when the problem happened and they realized how big it was, the guy in charge of kind of like making it right walked into some bigwig's office. He's like, I need like $1 billion from you to fix this problem. Could you imagine having to go to your boss and ask for $1 billion for anything? Crazy part, and this is where it's so wild to me that Xbox lost their way. He didn't even second guess it. He just said yes. He just wanted to know how long it was going to take. He was like, okay, so we fund it. How long is it going to take to get everything fixed and right? That's it. That was basically, I mean, I'm sure there were more questions, but that was kind of the concept. He was like, well, this is what we have to do to make it right. And I get it; they're swimming in that Microsoft.
I was about to say, how much more support from Microsoft do they have then compared to now, though?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm curious how much of like the Microsoft portion coming down on the Xbox departments is creating the what we're dealing with today.
It could be, but I think that, and I want to preface this because I I have a lot of opinions on Phil Spencer. I think that Phil Spencer is a great person. I think he's a good human. I think he's tech savvy. I think he's actually pretty smart. I think even for gaming industry, like Phil's a gamer through and through. He's actually a gamer. And I think that his vision of putting more, like getting more people to play games across different platforms, and they kind of pushed the cross play and bullied Sony into saying yes into it. You could say that that's because of them losing the console war and trying to fight some good grace back. But it was the right move. His concept of you can play anywhere and you can have less barriers to entry. Great concept. Love it. Game Pass is now too expensive to really say that that's the platform to do it.
Yeah, they keep jumping up the prices. I'm like, nope.
It's just not worth that price anymore. Not when you're talking about Nintendo Switch being at $50 to play online
for a year.
PlayStation, I think, is at like $70 is like your baseline, and you're still getting free games or access to games every month that you can play.
Yeah, it's like the top premium. The top is like $18 a month or something for Sony if you want to do the monthly.
I don't know. I've never looked at it monthly.
That's how I'm able to play Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3. Is because I got
the library. Games, yeah. I don't know what it is monthly, but it's still cheaper. And it's
roughly about 18 if I remember correctly from charge.
I think that they did this weird thing. Like Xbox One, they had to try and go into damage control. I think the One S is a good system. I think the One X was an okay system. Their naming conventions were fine for that era, but even still, you had the 360S and the 360E, the Slim and the E models. Now they have the Xbox S and the X, and then you go to this generation, there's the Series S and the Series X. Their naming conventions are terrible. I can't tell you, from the perspective of selling those consoles to people on a day-to-day basis, how hard it was, even with pictures and graphics, to talk to a parent
non-gamers have no idea.
It's very hard to tell them the difference. And then they're like, well, what about a Nintendo and what about a PlayStation? Well, for Nintendo, the Switch made it a little bit more complicated, but you can see the differences when you hold a Switch Lite and a Switch and an OLED in your hands. You're like, oh, I get the difference. I'm holding it. When you go to PlayStation, it's like, we have the PlayStation and you have the Pro. How many other options were there? There wasn't any other.
The Pro was more expensive, but it runs games better.
Yep, better graphics, more memory. That's why it's the Pro, and it's more expensive. A person can wrap their head around that. The S and the X, you had to try and explain the differences, and in some ways, the differences were a little bit more complicated. The price gap was much bigger between the two. When they tried to make
that mode, S, you can't, no discs, graphics not as good.
Well, One S did have a disc drive. And that's where it got even more complex, because then they also released the digital.
Yeah, the digital one. Yeah.
They released the digital S, and then they released the One X. And it was just, they've done that stuff wrong the whole way. And then you move into this generation. I think it's criminal that they're even selling the Series S. I get the concept. They want to release current gen games at a better price point because they want it approachable. I like the message. Trust me, I think that making it affordable is cool. But you are practically ripping people off, telling them that a Series S game and a Series X game are even close to the same thing.
Yeah, no.
The hardware is even close to the same thing, because the Series S doesn't even play in 4K.
Yeah, because isn't the Series S like basically essentially almost just a more powerful Xbox One essentially at this point?
It is not.
It's like paper, it's basically at the level of Xbox One.
It's a little bit more than a One, but not as powerful as the One X.
Yeah.
On paper, the only reason that
it's essentially the One S with a little bit more power.
It's a touch more powerful than a One S, but it has the solid state memory, which is what allows for the load times. If you took solid state memory and you shoved it in a One S, you'd get similar performance. or a One X, you'd actually get better performance. The One X would be able to support it. Now the only thing is that you get into heating elements, and maybe the One X couldn't support the load times with the graphics load at that heat. It might overheat, but I mean, all in all, they've made missteps every way with the hardware. Even though they set out, they're like, okay, how do we differentiate ourselves? We have Game Pass, and we have the most powerful gaming system in the world. That was kind of their model when they went out with the One X, and then same thing with the Series X. Because on paper, the Series X I think is technically fractionally better than the PS5. Technically,
yeah, it is actually. Some studies prove that it is more powerful than the PS5, but it's just the name. If it was Uno reverse, they would have sold better than the PlayStation if the names were swapped easily.
If it was just about hardware, sure.
Oh yeah,
but it's not. It's about games.
Yeah, like I said, it's like most people these days don't trust Xbox, so they're not going to buy an Xbox.
Yeah, because the thing is, the conversation a lot of the times it's like, well, we had an Xbox 360, we skipped the Xbox One, so now I want a Series X. Okay, well, just so you know, to play online, you need to have Xbox Live, and now it's kind of bundled with...
It's force bundled with Game Pass.
With Game Pass, and it's very expensive.
Yeah, you can't buy Live by itself from what I see.
Yeah, and maybe, I don't know, I haven't...
You have to at least have Game Pass Core, which is the $10 a month.
Well, that's not that bad.
Yeah.
$10 a month is fine.
But it's like, I don't even know the difference between the high tier Game Pass and the...
It's too complicated.
Yeah, it's like,
it just should...
how many games do I actually get on the $10 a month version compared to $22 a month or something like that?
Yeah. I think that, again, Phil Spencer, the idea of trying to get more people in, I'm good with it. But I think that he lost his way. At one point, it felt like Microsoft panicked, and they realized that they didn't have games coming out that were compelling to the system, to the platform. So they started buying studios, like Bethesda and Activision. And there's others, but they started buying the studios, and then they realized that making good games, and Phil said this, and he's both right and wrong. I remember directly in one of his interviews, his quote was, "It's not as simple as just making a good game. People don't buy your console just because you make good games." He's right and he's wrong. He's right in the sense that it's not easy to just make a good game. If you could just throw money at it and make a good game, there would be a lot of better games out there. But you are
buying
wrong.
A console for a game is not... The people that don't buy consoles is bullshit. I buy a Switch just for Legend of Zelda.
Yep.
Like, my Switch 2 has only been basically playing Zelda.
Yep.
A little bit of Mario Kart and just Zelda sense.
That's it. That's where they lose their argument.
The Switch is my Zelda machine.
That's where they lose their argument tenfold. The Switch relies on Mario's, Pokemon's, and Zelda's.
Like, that's their holy trinity.
Exactly. That's their Triforce.
Yeah.
So they rely on those titles, and it single-handedly keeps them in business versus the competitors. Because hardware, they're never going to be as good as PlayStation or Xbox from a technical standpoint. They may be more innovative.
Their game recognition is like of the three main companies, their game recognition is the highest.
I mean, how many people just say, "Are you playing Nintendo?" and it's a PS5, because that's just the recognition the brand has. But he was wrong in the sense, like, it is that simple. If you make really good games, people will buy your console. And it's just not easy to make that good of a game. That's the problem. And their vision was wrong, in my opinion, because I think some of the better titles that they had in development got canned. Like Scalebound is a perfect example. Scalebound looked fun. I thought Scalebound was going to be great.
The Perfect Dark reboot.
And I understand.
Still bitter about that.
The development cycles were hell because they couldn't agree on what they wanted to make or how they were going to make it. And I think Scalebound, it was kind of like a friction point of they wanted to force multiplayer into it. And it's just like, no. I like, this isn't my game. Scalebound isn't a multiplayer game like the way you want it to be. And I think they conflicted, and they're like, we're not doing that. It's just not the division. So I think that Phil has done some good things for Xbox, and he's a great representative of the brand. And I would never call for somebody's job like that. I just think that his vision doesn't fully align right now. Now, maybe I'll eat my words, like with this event and this year, like we talked about earlier, they have a pretty stacked lineup this year. Maybe I'm wrong, and it just took them a long time to catch up. But my concern is that the hardware sales are so bad, it won't matter anymore.
They're abysmal. We talked about last episode. Like, they're at half the level of the Xbox One sales. And we're 5 years in.
You saw the thing over Christmas about how they were outsold by like this random third-party device.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember what it was. I never even really looked into it, but it was outsold by a device I'd never even heard of in the console world. They called it a console.
Was it the Soldier Boy console?
No. That surprisingly didn't work.
Like I shared a screenshot with you of a YouTube channel. Like they straight up are saying like 2025 was officially Xbox worst year in their history, in their 25-year history. So
the next Playground
was third.
What? The next Playground console was third in units sold this holiday season.
PlayStation 5 took a 47% market share. Basically half of Black Friday sales were PS5s.
Which is also crazy to say considering we had a Switch
2 was only a quarter of the sales?
And that launched this year. This is the first holiday it was available.
People were annoyed with the price point of the Switch 2. It's like, I mean, to be fair...
What is it, $450 in the US?
Yeah.
I understand that coming up with $450 right now is not easy.
Like,
don't get me wrong. I don't even have one but for me, it's not about, it wasn't so much about the money. Like it would have been tough to find the $450, but I mean, if there was a Zelda title, truly, I'd have had it day one. You know, I would have done something. I would have done something.
I mean, it's like the only reason I got a Switch 2 is because I was gifted an extremely large gift card by a coworker, and I was like,
right,
Master's giving Dobby a sock. Like I was blown away by the generosity, so I was able to afford a Switch 2 because of it, because it was a birthday gift. I'm like, we just work together.
Yeah.
I'm like, do I need to take you out to dinner?
I think that it's interesting, but if the Switch 2 had a stronger hardware line or software lineup, I think it would have been better. I think that it was purely just based on the software lineup this year. They don't have enough. Bonanza and Mario Kart World Tour are not enough.
We're the big hits. Like I haven't even played Donkey Kong yet, but I don't have $70.
It looks good.
It was their Game of the Year nominee. So it's like we discussed in the previous episode, it's this current round of like the 3D.
Yeah, it
fills the void of there being no 3D Mario.
I agree.
Which we'll probably see in like 5 years.
So here's a hot take on the Game Awards. I do not like that they basically reserve a spot for a Nintendo release and they reserve a spot for an indie release. I don't think that
there was like 3. Like, there was mostly indie nominees.
This year was different, but every year they always reserve a spot. At least it feels like it. Maybe correct me if I'm wrong. I'd have to go look at the nominees.
To be fair, that's they kind of feel like they have to at this point.
Well, now they've committed.
I was going to say the indie community would tear them apart if they didn't have.
Yeah, they've committed to it at this point. But I think that when you're talking about the overall game of the year, I think that it should just be on its own merit. You shouldn't disqualify a game that was bigger or better just because you don't have the slot. At the end of the day, the best games overall should be in that title. Now, there should be a category dedicated to indie games like there is 100%, and that should never change.
If those games are good enough to make Game of the Year contention, they deserve to be in that spot.
Yeah, I think that's the other part that where people were kind of back and forth with it this year is like if you are the Game of the Year nominee in indie, you automatically should probably win the indie game of the year, right?
Yeah. Do you think if there's an indie game and Game of the Year nomination, it should be taken out of the indie Game of the Year nomination?
No. Because it is still the indie game of the year.
It's not guaranteed to win Game of the Year.
Right. So. I don't think there should be any restrictions on like limits of awards. Like if you're the best at everything, you deserve an award for everything.
I don't know. After the Wuthering Waves thing, I don't think there should be a fan vote nomination thing.
I don't think that a gacha game should have won, but
yeah. But hey, the addictions be addictive.
Yeah, something like that. Anyway, Xbox, Phil Spencer, kind of put a bow on it.
I will say pre-COVID era Phil Spencer was like firing on all cylinders. After COVID and the like, basically Series X generation onwards, he's just.
But how is he firing on all cylinders pre-COVID?
I just remember all the announcements being fantastic.
What were they?
I don't know. I just remember having positive.
Like, give me 3.
He brought in backwards compatibility, if I remember correctly.
Okay, backwards compatibility is a good one. That's fine.
That was obviously Xbox One. I think I think it's just mostly the backwards compatibility because I'm a slut for backwards compatibility.
Okay, fair enough.
But I know he was there for the announcements of like Project Scorpio. He was there for the announcements of like.
But one,
all
but that was Project Scorpio is just 1X.
Yeah,
I mean, but you had the PS4 Pro. It's the same concept. I don't think that was an overly positive thing. I mean, like
I just remember more positive things happening in like 2015 to pre like before the Series X versus after the Series X. It's been mostly like mixed to not really well received.
I think that it's just catching up. Mm-hmm. I think that's all it is. Because I think that he's actually made better decisions in the last 2 or 3 years than he did right before COVID and stuff.
It could have just been the backlash of he was the one that replaced the douchey
he was
Xbox
such a
One dude.
Yeah, he was such a
everyone was like, oh yes,
he was such a positive stark contrast. Yeah, so I could see that. I get that, and he had the right. Again, I think that the vision's good. I think that the execution just isn't quite there, and he's very smart. You know, one of the things that he also said in an interview that resonates with me a lot is that there was no world where they won this generation from a console perspective because they lost the most important generation in history. They lost the PS4, Xbox One generation, which, to your point around backwards compatibility, that's where the digital catalogs came into play. And it's very hard to convince somebody with 150 digital games on one platform to switch to the other, regardless of everything going on. It's the same reason that iTunes, you know how many people I know that hate iPhones but don't switch because they own thousands and thousands of songs, albums, and movies through iTunes. They won't switch because they don't want to lose them. Apple got it right in 06 or whatever, and they've locked them into their ecosystem, regardless of how bad the product is. That'll start a fight in the comments. Android for life. Just don't show them your phone.
Oh yeah, my shattered screen falling apart.
Yeah.
Can't connect to Wi-Fi. Still better to whatever crap Apple came out with. Come at me. I don't care. I'll be the heel of this podcast. I don't give a.
I have an iPhone right here. I have a work iPhone, and I hate it. Hate it.
See, I'm glad you said work, because if you didn't say work, I would have just yeeted it into the abyss that is outside this window.
Yeah. I hate it. I hate it with a passion.
I didn't want to look at it. Get it away from me.
Yeah.
I will sanitize my hands. Come at me, Apple fans. I don't care.
I genuinely, there was a pocket of time where I understood that the simplicity of iPhone worked better for older people. I don't see it anymore. I think it's more complicated than Android.
Yeah.
But
I think literally, I had the most generic phones back in the early 2010s, and you were the one that got me onto Samsung, specifically because at the time Samsung was the only one that had the expandable slot for memory. Apple didn't at the time, so I was like, all right, I'm going there.
Yep. I've been pretty big,
and I've been ride or die ever since. I don't care.
I wish that OnePlus would have had a really successful run in the US, but they didn't, because technically they're really, really good phones. But I just think that Android's a better OS. End of the day, I think that the Google Pixels are great phones. I've messed with those.
I think they're nothing but good things about Google Pixels. Which is crazy to think about. I'm like, Google's making a good product.
I remember when the Pixel came out, the only thing that turned me off from it was that they got rid of the physical home button first. The Pixels never had it.
I remember.
And Samsung did. And I was like, I don't like that. And then Samsung got rid of it anyway. So, well, yeah, I don't know. I think that Xbox, they could have a big year this year. To be fair, they could have the biggest year that they've had in a decade.
Yeah, it's don't get me wrong. It's I want Xbox 360 because I want there to be someone other than just PlayStation.
Competition is so important.
Yeah, it's I do not want to see Xbox become the next Sega.
No.
I do not want to see them just become a software developer and that's it.
See, and I think that what could be interesting and what they maybe need to go towards, and it feels like this is where they're naturally flowing, but if you want to sell a console and then a subscription service to play games on your console, then just do that and make that your whole business model instead of trying to play this middle ground where you're publishing and where you're developing and all this kind of stuff. If you want to be a streaming service, do that, and then like sell your games physically on PlayStation, which is kind of where they're naturally falling right now. And I feel like that's where they're almost getting revenue back from it. I think they were surprised because I think it was Sea of Thieves and maybe it was Forza Horizon 5. And
it had to have been Forza because I don't think Gears actually sold that well on PlayStation.
Oh, I think it did. I think that they said that every release that they've... I think they've said every release that they've had that was originally Xbox exclusive that they've sold on PlayStation is outselling on the PlayStation.
Yeah. Double check really quick for that Gears sales because I'm not... If it did, I'll what's the term? I'll eat my words. Gears Reloaded sales. Yeah.
Let's take a look.
Because it's technically, it makes me laugh because it's like a remaster, even though they remastered Gears in like 2014 or something like that, the Xbox One. So I'm like, stronger engagement on Xbox compared to, only 260,000 copies on PS5. The rest were on Xbox or Game Pass.
When did Reloaded launch?
Mid last year.
For both platforms?
Yeah. I think it was like June, late June. Maybe late August. I don't remember. But no, it's like if I haven't seen a physical copy in the wild, unfortunately, but if I see a physical PS5 copy, I might just say screw it and get it on PS5. Oh, that launched on PS5 in 2024?
Yeah.
Dang.
It was one of the first ones.
2 million. Ooh. So, I mean, may not be my kind of game, but I love seeing that it still does like successful years into its lifespan.
Yeah, I didn't know that the Steam number was what it was for Sea of Thieves at 13 million. That's crazy. Damn. That is crazy.
Good for you, Sea of Thieves developers.
I think that they've got to just
PS5 launch reportedly generated about 40 million. Damn.
It was a $40 price point, I think.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what they do with that next console. Is just essentially their version of a Steam machine, Game Pass machine, essentially, and then release physical copies of their games on PS5 and Nintendo.
Yeah.
It's like if that's the route they go, so be it. As long as they're still making games and releasing hardware, and not just specifically being a software company. Just don't become modern Sega.
Yeah. Well, and I think that they've got to take a
5 million on PS5
for Forza Horizon.
It blows my mind how it's like. I know racing games are popular, but it never really sinks into my head how popular Forza is until I see the numbers.
Well, I mean, Gran Turismo is still like the best-selling PlayStation franchise of all time.
Oh yeah, I remember I discussed about it before. Gran Turismo 2. My dad played that religiously.
Yeah. Anyway, I think to kind of close it out, I think that Xbox, they could have a big year, and maybe we'll kind of see. I hope that the investments start to pay off for them because they did go out and they put some serious money into it, but the vision's got to be there. Maybe Fable and this year is the start of it. I don't know.
I truly feel like this year is going to be like the make or break year for Xbox. Either they turn it around or this is like going to be the official and final nail in the coffin.
You think that Microsoft just pulls the plug on them?
I mean,
maybe from a hardware perspective.
Yeah. Like they cancel that new generation console and just tell them just focus on games.
That could end up being the thing that they do. And just focus on.
But at what point would they stop making games for the Series X in that case? Then,
well, remember that they can release them all digitally on the Windows platform.
True, but like hypothetically, like 10 years down the line, as people are still getting.
Oh yeah, I mean, eventually, I would say that they'll probably have to stop making stuff in like 29.
Yeah, which is not that far away.
Yeah, but. Just given the hardware restrictions.
Doom Eternal was 2020. Oh, God. I need to stop looking at these release dates for these games. Goodness gracious, Peter Murphy Cottontail.
Yeah, I think that God, I hope that they get some decent stuff out this year.
Please, let Fable be a massive success. Let that be the turnaround.
Fingers crossed.
Toes.
Yeah.
Toe cramp. Oh.
Did you actually get a toe cramp?
Yeah, I don't drink enough water.
What's water?
What is hydration? What is being healthy?
I don't think there's any such thing as
Oh, I forgot John Carpenter game's coming out.
Yeah, I just don't see anything from Xbox like in the recent years.
The combat ones on Game Pass. That's hilarious. Is that a Grinch game?
Apparently.
Interesting.
Merry Christmas.
Hey, you filthy animals.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think that their best market really is PC maybe at this point. Now, obviously, we don't have all the data, but I mean, like I was not expecting that type of numbers for Sea of Thieves on the PC.
I wasn't expecting anything of Sea of Thieves, honestly. So it's like I'm really glad to see that it actually proved me wrong and it's doing well.
Yeah. Well, I think that that's probably it. We'll kind of wrap it up there. I mean, if there's anything in particular you guys want us to talk about, put it in the comments and all those YouTube things.
Yes. Something about likes, buttons, and stuff, all that shenanigans.
Yeah. Yeah, all those the normal stuff. Like, comment, subscribe. Yay.
Yeah, you said the thing.
I said the thing. That makes us YouTubers. So yeah, but let us know what topics you want to talk about. I think it could be fun to take a look at some of the not so good moments in the gaming industry, and look forward to talking about this Xbox event, whether it's in a separate video or whether it's on Monday. So I'm really excited for it. I hope that it goes well, but if you tuned into the whole thing, you crazy son of a bitch, I appreciate you. If you didn't tune into the whole thing and skip to the end, I don't know what you were hoping to find. But either way, I appreciate you if you watch us for 1 minute or 1 hour. So thank you. And got anything for them?
You tell them to hit that like button?
No. What? There's a like button?
Yeah, they got to subscribe and everything, comments, all that jazz.
Ah.